So I'll just quickly introduce myself to everyone. Anyway, to all of you, very good morning. Welcome to the Dynamics 365 technical demo session. So just to give you a quick update or introduction about myself. So I am Tathagat Maitra. So I have a total of more than 9 years of work experience in Microsoft Dynamics. So I believe most of you are engineers maybe, but yeah, I'm also an engineer and I did my graduation from Jadavpur University, and then I started my career in consulting in Big Four firm, and then currently I'm working in a MNC firm as a team lead in Microsoft Dynamics practice. So it has been quite a good journey because I've started as a technical right now, the handling team and managing projects. So the experiences and the projects which I have worked on, that has really helped me to know the product and to grow also. So I hope if you can be in the session for next few weeks, whatever be the timeline, you will definitely learn something. It will actually enhance your skill set, and then you can make that skill set according to your plan, and you can leverage it on the job market. So, brief intro about all of you. I believe most of you are working or student. Is that correct? A percentage? So, if anyone can tell, so are you all students or working as of now?
No, I myself working as a consultant.
Okay. So, my yeah, that's good to hear. So, someone might be working or someone might be a student. So, you might be something. So, yeah, we'll try to make it as an interactive session because you can definitely ask me question at any point of time. And I'd also like to hear from you about the how you like the session, about the if you asking questions, and I will definitely try to answer all the questions in the time, and definitely will do and take the session forward like this. So for going to the session, I'll quickly share you the agenda. So we'll I've prepared a few slides and I'll just go through it and I'll just make a note out of it. So we'll briefly go through Dynamics 365 as an ERP, how it has been evolved, how we are using it, the product as of now in the different industry, how the product is being looked upon in the industry, in different industry. I mean, large scale industries, medium and small scale, and then we'll see the core architecture of Dynamics 365, and then we'll see the advantages, how we are using it, and then we'll see the question and answers what we can have on that. So let me share my screen and we'll start the session as of now. Okay. Just give me a minute. Let me just align.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Your
Anyone
voice
has
is
any,
not audible.
anyone has any questions? Okay.
None
Then
from
I'll
my side.
yeah.
Okay, I'm having one question. Actually, I'm an experienced professional in the Dynamics NAV.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Okay, so what will be the training level? Actually, I don't know about the technicalities of this Dynamics 365 F&O. So
Okay.
it will be the basic level, it will be started, or the advanced level, the technical training will be covered.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, when you quickly go through the session, you will definitely know. But just to give you an update, yes, we will definitely start with some of the basic items, and then we'll quickly move on to the advanced. So if you are working in Dynamics NAV, then you must know the Microsoft architecture and how it has evolved, because right now Dynamics NAV has also uh, Business Central, which is a cloud platform that has also come up. So from the coding standpoint and the technical standpoint, it is something I'd say not similar, because it has been a different coding language and other things. But yes, definitely you will find similarities regarding the structure, techniques, and everything. Yeah, and just to give you an answer, yes, we'll start with few of the basics, because we need to educate the batch also about how the structure, what are the key components, those things we need to function. And I believe if you are starting from scratch in Dynamics 365 F&O, then it will also help you to know few of the nuances which you might have not known. So that will help. Okay. So
Okay,
yeah, I
thank you.
think that is the core agenda of the training. Okay. So let me quickly share the screen, and if you can see it, so let me maximize it. Okay. Okay. So ERP is just what we has shown you. So first we'll start with what is our ERP, and so it's just a platform where we can do all our works and integrate all the modules. So let us take an example. Okay. So these are like, I would say, kind of trivia. So the dates and everything what we have shown, this is in the slide, that this product was actually launched in 2016 and branded as Dynamics 365 in 2017. Before that, it was called an AX7. Okay, so just first start with here. So the full form is Enterprise Resource Planning. So this is but take an I'll give you a small example. So if you have seen the local kirana shops or the local grocery shops, right? So what they do? So if you go to the shop, if you asking for some soap or some items, you will go to the shelf and you will give it to you. Okay, some small item, and you will only give those items which are in the first row of the shelf. Okay, so that means those items have the latest expiry date, because whichever is expiring soon, you will try to release this item to the customer because you can use it, right? So that first thing what he is managing all his inventory and the products. Right? This is the first thing what he is doing. So as a kirana store or as a like a small grocery shop, again he is also getting those items from someone, right, from his suppliers. Second thing, he is also recording his sales. He is also maintaining his finances, all the ins and outs, whatever money he is making, all those things, right? So this is
Hello,
a
Maitra.
small part. Yes,
Maitra,
yes, go ahead.
your voice is not clearly.
Mm. Yeah,
Uh,
sorry to interrupt. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
sound
same with
clear.
everyone, I think. Probably the mic issue. Could you please change the mic
okay.
or if
Is it low, the voice you cannot hear?
yeah,
No,
we
no,
are
your
able to
voice
hear your voice. There is some mic issue. It's coming. It's together, which is making noise.
noise,
Yeah.
noise. Yeah, we are
Maybe you
getting
have to come
you
closer to your
some.
mic and speak.
Okay, just give me one moment. Just give me. Okay. Hello, can you hear me now? Is it fine? Is it better?
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so yes, as I was saying, so whenever so that small kirana shop owner or the grocery shop owner, he is managing something, right? So he's doing it on a very small scale, and what he is doing, he is managing his purchase, he is managing his sales, he is managing his inventory, all by himself. So because he doesn't need any helping hand, because it's a very small scale operation, it's a small shop, maybe he's earning maybe 20, 30,000 in a month, but he is able to do all the system. But take this kirana shop and think on a bigger scale, right? What we have in our DMart stores, or what we have in our Ratnadeep stores, or what we have in our Big Bazaar. So they are managing that in a huge scale. So in one store, maybe they have thousands and thousands of different items. All those items they are procuring. They are managing the inventory. They are doing the warehousing. They are also managing the customers also. They have a customer service team also. They are managing the finance. They have a point of sale application also, because when you go to the billing counter, it has a point of sale application. All these things are managed, because also you have noticed that if someone is asking for something, if that is not there, they will guide you to, okay, this store has this item, or they will try to bring those things. All those things are actually a system that is being managed by someone. And actually those systems are not being managed by someone. Those being systems are mostly managed by something. So those operations managed are by ERP application, which is enterprise resource management. That is nothing but we are actually integrated all the verticals of a business. So by vertical I means my purchase, my procurement, my sales, my customer management, my finance, my inventory, my warehousing. All these are different applications. All these are different verticals. We need to manage that, right? So by ERP, using the ERP, we can manage everything in one single product. We do not need to have different small application. We do not need to have a developer for each and every application. We can simply use one application, one set of developers who knows the product. We can do our customization on that, and we are ready to use that system. So that is why the ERP system is very much in demand. Okay, so just to give you a brief, so we have different types of ERP. So some of the names, if I tell you, you will easily recognize, and you will know your friends also do. So we have the largest ERP is SAP, what we call. Then we have Oracle Business Suite. Then we have Microsoft Dynamics. Under Microsoft Dynamics, we have different ERP, like we have Navision, then we have X. So right now, those Microsoft Dynamics Axapta, what we called previously, it is has been changed to Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations, what we call, and Dynamics Navision has been changed to Business Central. So those older version is still there, but Microsoft has built and released this new cloud versions of all the ERPs. So this has been the new change. So this is what you were seeing in the slide also. So it is actually the Dynamics 365 product was first launched in 2016. It was called as AX7. So AX basically is one of the main ERP of Microsoft, which was called Axapta, AXAPT, Axapta. So it was called AX7, but right now it has been rebranded to Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. Okay, and it's actually not only for ERP what we are showing, because right now Microsoft is actually, if you want to go to any company, you will see everyone using Microsoft Office, most of the companies, right? And it has come as an office suite, right? So you can buy Office, you can buy finance and operations, maybe finance part, maybe operations part, maybe your customer management, maybe your only CRM application, or maybe only your retail application. So it has been like like this from going on. So if I can just summarize on this, so if you see Microsoft Dynamics 365 FNO, so we have our AX7 rebranded to Dynamics 365 FNO, and we have our different type of ERP as we discussed: SAP, Oracle, and we have our MSD 365. And so one more thing I just like to highlight, so the industries. So ERP is some application, it is actually very useful because it can be used across industries. Okay, so let's give you an example. SAP is a German based application. So in Germany it was first invented, and it was actually being used only for big manufacturing companies. Okay, because in Germany they have large manufacturing industry, mostly in automotive vehicle sections. Okay, it was started like this, but then right now, then Oracle and then Microsoft has came with their ERP, and right now SAP can be used across different industry. It can be used in the oil industry, it can be used in gas industry, it is also being used in retail industry, every industry if you can talk about. Similarly, for Microsoft Dynamics, it can be used for a very small set of companies. So I'll give you an example. So a few of the projects which I have worked on, those are from different industry. One industry was a South Indian tea and rubber manufacturing company. So for that industry also we can use that application. One industry I worked for a retail client, so they were leading eye spectacle manufacturing in the country. So the other company was a leading two-wheeler manufacturer, so you all know Royal Enfield, right? So they were also using. So this is not only them, they are managing their operations through ERP, right? They can manage their customer relationship, customer service, they can manage their inventory, everything through the ERP. So as I said, right now with Dynamics 365, everything we are selling as a package. So we'll be only considering our discussion on the Dynamics 365 finance and operations. We'll not go to CRM and everything, because the technical part will be only focusing on Dynamics 365 finance and operations. Okay, so this is a highlight or what I would say. So if we go to the slide, okay, so before the evolution, so let me just give you a small introduction on the our role. So,
Sorry,
yeah,
Dynamic 365 F&O, is it development is similar to retail development also?
no, it is not similar. It is not similar. So for retail development, we are using our .NET application where we are doing the development, and we can use our plugins through Java and everything. But for Dynamics 365 F&O, the language is X++. Okay, what it is a Microsoft development language which is X++, but it is very similar to any object-oriented programming language, be it .NET, be it C++, all these things. So if you know C++ or if you know any object-oriented programming, it will be easy for you to grab that language, and it is not very easy. Or rather, if you know SQL also. So if you can write a SQL statement in SQL Server or write some queries, you can easily grab that information. And if you come and I show you okay, how to write the code, you will know, okay, this is the thing that we need to work on. So this is very user friendly also, I'd say.
So we are not covering this the retail portion, only related to F&O development we are doing in this.
F&O development, yes. So for retail portion, we are not covering in this training. Yes.
Thank you.
Just to go back to our discussion. So what I was explaining. So what is our roles first of all? So for I'll give you brief about the project life cycle. So whenever most of the Dynamics 365, whenever or the ERP project, whenever a company appoints a consulting company, let's say it is maybe it is Accenture, right? So if Accenture is actually being appointed maybe by, let's assume, Reliance. So Reliance is asking customer, okay, for our operations, you need to implement Dynamics 365, and now you start your implementation. So what Accenture will do? It will go and study the business first. So whatever the business Reliance is currently having. So maybe they are having some changes in purchase system, maybe in sales and operations, all these things. So that's a study is first called as our as-is study. What is called an as-is study? Because consultants are studying the process, the business process, what we call, right? So if we see the project stages, as-is study, then we'll have our to-be study. So what will be the product like? So to-be study means, okay, after implementing, this will be the product and this is the changes that we do. So if we need any change and if we need to incorporate those changes in our product, so what we need to find? We need to find the gap, right? Because our Dynamics 365 product, standard product, offers you maybe 5 things. And Reliance Business Process may be wanting to have 8 different things. So we have a gap of 3 things, right? So those 3 things needs to be fit into our product. So this is the work of a functional consultant, what we call. So that is our gap fitment analysis. Okay. Next thing is, once we identify, okay, these are the changes, then we do our design documentation. Maybe you have heard, okay, we are doing functional design document, technical design document. So then the consultants, or rather the functional consultant, will do the functional design documents. And right then, after that, the work of the technical consultant starts. Based on the functional design document, we prepare the technical design document, and then we start our, which is our TDD, technical design document. Then we start our development. So what do you mean by technical design document? When a technical solution architect understand, okay, these are my changes, these are the things that we need to do, then they will go and then they will know, okay, few of the things maybe I need to change in my sales process. Few of the things I need to change in my purchase process. And based on the functional design document, these are the changes I need to do, and he will break it down to different small things and assign those things to developers. And this is where the junior developers or maybe some senior developers will come in. Maybe for changing one process, we need to break down the process into 5 different things, and under those 5 different things, we are maintaining different classes, we are different tables, storing data, writing business logic, all these things, right? So there the technical design document and the technology consultants, they come in and they have their input and they start their work. Okay, so this is the project stage, and this is how we are our roles as a consultant, as a technical consultant and functional consultant. Okay, so if you are good with that, so let's just start with the evolution process. So I'll just quickly go through that, because that is actually also important to know. You'll also be able to understand how this is working. So if you see, so as I explaining, so dynamics was actually a better version, what we call that AX, what is called as acceptor. So it has previously, it has started with AX 2.0, 3, 4. So I have only considered the last 3 versions, or which you actually will be able to see if you work in any consulting firm. So if you are going to any IT company or consulting company, you will see there are lots of projects, right? Some of the clients will be implementing the latest version, some may be using the old version, maybe they want to upgrade. So all these things are very important to know, because maybe today if I start working in one of the project where they are using Dynamics to 2009, which is an old version, but they have a plan to migrate those changes. So you need to know both of these things, right? So how these things are, how the old product is, and what are the steps to change that product to the new version, what are the things that we can do. So these are a comparative study, I would say, from a technology dynamics platform point of view. So if you see the 2009, 2012 and operations, so if you see the major changes from the scalability side, so it is actually the Dynamics 365. With the advent of Dynamics 365, Microsoft Dynamics can also compete with large organizations with SAP also, because previously there was, I'd say, not a conception, but some clients or some of the people had a decision that maybe for large organizations, so which are big manufacturing industry or big retail companies, they are not using Dynamics because maybe they are actually going for SAP because it is not able to handle so many users. Because for a large organization, they come up with maybe 1,000 plus, 2,000 plus users, or maybe more than that also, right? So but with the advent of this cloud platform, so right now we can handle any number of users, because it is auto scalable, because it is actually being hosted in cloud, and most of the clients, or say 90% of the cloud, they go for our cloud platform also. It has an on-premise like development testing environment also, but 90% time Microsoft suggests them to go for the cloud platform, so that the infrastructure and everything is being maintained by Microsoft based on the number of users, based on the number of how the application will turn out, how big is the application, how many applications you are using. So in 2009, we had Dynamics AX and CRM. In 2012 also AX and CRM, but in Dynamics 365 for operations, we have our operations, sales, field service, project service, power apps, everything we can have in one of the suite. It's not like directly integrated like, okay, I have my CRM, I create my customer, it will just simply go and come to my ERP application. It's not like that, but the integration and all these things are very easy now with the CDS structure, common data service. But right now all these things have been quite easy to operate. Previously it was not. Integration side, as I'm explaining, so we have this AIF like is for integration in Dynamics 2012, and previously it has .NET connector, so it was not very advanced. But right now we have AIF and DIXF, and right now in Dynamics 365 we can do any kind of changes, right? We can have Microsoft Flow, Common Data Service, DIXF, anything like DIXF for data management. So we'll come to that later once we go deep dive into the our sessions. Reporting capabilities, one more important thing. So previously most of the cases we are using Ssrs reporting. Maybe you have heard the term. So if you are trying to build any report, you can go to Ssrs, and it is very easy to develop. But in 2019 it was not there. So that Ssrs reporting capability is still there. Microsoft is still using in the Dynamics 365, and we use it on a day-to-day basis. But the major changes is integrated Power BI. So if you have the license of Power BI, so you know, like those interactive dashboards, right? How the Power BI, those, if you have seen maybe in YouTube ads and all these things, also those screen dashboards, screens and everything, those are actually integrated. And if you have the license, Microsoft itself provides you so many good Power BI reports. Okay, so those are actually available. And for mobile application right now, it is very easy to use from Power Apps. We can easily build small applications for our workers, and they can easily go. So the major changes between 2009 2012 by Dynamics 365 is all these 2009 till 2012 till 2012, I would say, all these were Windows application. It was not hosted in cloud, so that you have to have our own servers, you have to install that product, because that was in Windows application. We cannot go and easily open our like Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox and start using it. It is not possible. You have to log into the server and then we have to use it. But with the advent of cloud, Microsoft has built everything on cloud, and it's just a single click sign in process that I'll explain later, so how that core infrastructure is working. So this is the major change what we are having now. Okay, so I'll just quickly summarize on. Yes, please go ahead. Whoever has any questions.
Yes. Can you in this training session, if you can go to that slide.
Yes, just 1 second. Yes, please.
So what all we are covered in this training session? For example, if it is scalability, are we going to pitch on any of the scalability features we'll be going to discuss?
Yeah. So once I talk about scalability, so if you see this, the RAM requirement, all these things, these are I'd say you can, this information can be found out in Google also. So you don't need some expert or something like that. What we'll learn, how the Microsoft Dynamics is actually helping us to scale that, how the our architecture is, how it has been scalable. And because the questions will come to you as a consultant is, okay, this company is implementing Dynamics 365, they have this requirement. And most of the companies nowadays, it is 2022, right? If you go to any company, big organizations, most of them, they will have some or other system. They will have maybe in a small in-house built application, maybe small ERP, maybe some Excel based system or whatever, Tally, whatever system are using, but they will have some system. So they want to scale to the next level so that they can handle their operation. The questions will come to you for scalability is, okay, we want to handle this many users, these are my applications running, how you want to do the architecture, what will be the requirement and everything. So based on that, you need to No. And from the scalability, so from the technical session, we can give you knowledge. Okay, for this many users, this is the recommended step, and this all these things. Because whenever we are suggesting any product to the customer, scalability, integration, all these things, before the customer is buying the license, they need to have a clear idea on that. So that those things, and Microsoft, when they are also in the sales pitch, they also help the client. Because okay, so when we give the sales like for the previous version, so I'll give you an example. So for one of the client in X 2012, so when we are giving the pre-sales demo, so they ask for, okay, we have like 450 users and we have also 4 in-house applications, so those needs to be integrated. So now the question comes to you, okay, right now everything is managed by me, because in X 2012 I have to manage my server, I have to manage my infrastructure. So how do you incorporate 450 users with 4 applications at a time using the integration and everything? So that we need to then, okay, we need to say, okay, you have to have at least 120 GB memory with 32 core, and your users have this many, the system should be this 16 GB RAM and everything, because they will be using remotely, and these are the things that you need to do. So this is the requirement that you first tell the customer, correct, that this is what you need in the previous year. But right now with Dynamics 365, all these are taken care by Microsoft. So Microsoft will give you forms like customer requisition forms. So you have to tell, okay, I have maybe 1,000+ users, I have 4 in-house applications, and I have my mobile applications also I need to do, and I have also my retail also, maybe store, and the stores are also running. So based on that, Microsoft will also suggest you, okay, these are the capabilities that you need, and based on this will be the charge. All these are based on subscription, because the main concept of cloud is as per you use, correct, and as per you use and you pay. So this scalability concept, or how we are actually will be using the product, Microsoft also helps. And whenever you are going to buy the license, those information will come from the client, and based on the Microsoft input, we will guide the customer. And just to answer your question, in this technical session, we will be more focused on the technical part, like how we have developing product, how we are doing the customization and everything. Because scalability and everything, like we cannot show you in the demo, right? Because I cannot show you, okay, this is my 16 GB RAM and this is how the product will look like, and this is my 48 GB and this is how the product will look like. Because the product will look like same, based on the infrastructure, the performance will improve. So how they improve the performance and everything, we'll discuss later.
Okay. Mean to say, for example, AX 2012, we need this define and design, saying that how many AOS servers need to be there, and then whether the load balancing need to be there, or any other configurations need to, how many threads for each AOS need to be there. This and all we will be defining and then designing, right? Is there anything such thing do we need to take care at the time of implementation in D365?
From the technology consulting point of view, so as a developer, I would say, so there are two parts, developers and also architectures also. So from developer point of view, you don't need to consider any of these things. From the architecture point of view, we can guide the customer, okay, this is Microsoft suggestion. As I said, whenever we are procuring the license first from Microsoft, because we need to have the license first, then only Microsoft ask you these questions, and based on that only Microsoft will provide you, okay, this is the environment that we are giving. So just to give you an update or idea, so we have 3 layers or 3 tiers of environment. Okay, so tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3. So if you are, I was about to come to that, but let me come to that right now. So tier 1 environment, we have our dev environment. Tier 2 is our UAT pre-prod, and tier 3 is a prod. So whoever is, like, just to clarify, whoever, if someone is student and not familiar with this terminology, so our tier 1 environment is our development environment, so where we actually do our developments. So these are, maybe Microsoft will not provide that many AOSs or that many server against the or load balancing, all these things in the development environment, because this will not be used by many users. Tier 2 environment will be UAT and pre-prod. Generally Microsoft gives like maybe excuse me, 16 GB RAM for this environment and all these things, right? UAT, where you will come and maybe 100 users or super users will test the environment. So UAT means user acceptances, where we do all our testing cases, run our test cases. So, and tier 3 is our production environment, where Microsoft will actually come and give all the major infrastructure to run this show. Some of the cases, because I have implemented for one of the client where they needed big RAMs or big infrastructure in the UAT environment, because they wanted to do an UAT with all the super users, and that client had actually implemented for 6,000 plus users. So the super users were almost close to I would say 400 plus for different combining all the modules. So they needed a big infrastructure. So in generally Microsoft doesn't provide that much of it, but if you ask Microsoft, if you see, okay, I want to have a different preferred environment, that will also Microsoft environment. So by default, again, just to answer your question, by default, when you buy the licenses, Microsoft will provide you 3 environment, where first is development, second is UAT, and third is production, which you actually use in the live application. So in UAT, some of the clients, they can ask for a new environment, which we call as pre-production. So just before production, whatever things they want to keep and tally with the production. So just for the use cases. So in those cases also, Microsoft suggests not to go with the complete infrastructure what we have in production with prepar, because that increases the cost. Okay. Yeah, so just to come to that, so all these things we actually Microsoft is taking care of as of now, and whenever we are sending the requirement, based on that Microsoft sends us the code, and based on that we pay. Okay, so I'd say from INR point of view, just to give you a number, so previously, like, I can give you a number from past 1 year. So for minimum licenses you need to buy is like 25 users, and for Indian customers it cost around 35 lakhs per year. So that was kind of the cost what we have. It varies country to country. If you go to US and buy Microsoft Dynamics, it will cost you more maybe. I don't know the pricing from US, but from Indian market point of view, so the domestic projects which we worked on, so that was the price point which Microsoft started selling the product, and it is just only for finance and operations. And here also Microsoft changed the licensing based on, if you are using only for operations, you don't need the finance, only for maybe purchase and operations, inventory, everything, not only need the finance. Maybe if you need finance and operation, maybe you need to allocate more resources, more infrastructure, correct? So those things also come up. Okay, so if you can go to our next slide. So this is the functional dynamics platform, how we are developed. So as I explained most of the part, so finance or from functionality, workflow, organization, modeling, all these things, I would just compare the last 2 versions with AX 2012 and Dynamics 365. Most of the cases from the functionality side, it is same, I would say, because organization hierarchy, that new concept, that dimension, financial dimensions, all these changes have already been introduced in AX 2012, and right now in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation, we are leveraging those changes. Workflow, which is a very important part, so it is the same engine that was being used in Dynamics AX 2012 is being used in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations also. Finance, so this dimension functionality, all this e-banking integration, our like bank reconciliation, collection module, all these were already present in AX 2012. We could do customization on that, but right now this facility is quite enhanced. So I can give you an example. So we have something called as advanced bank reconciliation, right? What do I mean by that? So whenever so for big organization, they have business account and they have thousands of transactions in one day, right? And they need to reconcile with, okay, whatever balance is showing in my bank account is actually tallying with whatever I have in my ERP also. So then only this will be matching, right? Because if your bank balance is not matching with whatever you have, so that is a very messed up situation, right? So For that, we can do like we have partnered with different banks, and we accept different bank statement files also. So maybe you have an account with HDFC Bank, so HDFC Bank will send you the bank statement in a format which is called maybe bank 420 or something. So I think, I don't remember, but 2-3 formats are being accepted. So those integrations is right now is very easy with AX2012 and Dynamics 365, which are previously not available. So if you can just simply import the statement, and all the statements will come, and it will do a reconciliation also. So you don't need to worry about any of this thing. So those are actually being very useful for large organization. And as I said, right now Dynamics 365 is very compatible, and it is being marketed as the one of the leading large ERPs along with SAP and Oracle, and the market is like quite expanding for that. Okay, so this is kind of the history part. So how we have developed and what are the features we have. So one more thing, as I was saying, so we know like the cloud structure, what I was explaining, so I'll explain more in the upcoming training session. So we have a few terminologies we might be hearing all the time, like SaaS, IaaS. What are those things? So Microsoft Dynamics, so I'll just quickly go through that. Microsoft Dynamics, if you are using the product, so those are being used as an infrastructure as a service, because a Microsoft service, D365 infrastructure, everything is being built or provided through the Microsoft. Okay, so there is something called a SaaS also, so software application as a service. So if you are only using the application, if you do not need any changes, customization, which rarely happens, I would say, which doesn't happen frequently, because most of the customers, they do need some changes always. So those will be used as SaaS, because it is not being used by like no changes are being coming from the customer. So it is the application is used from a IaaS point of view. So it's an infrastructure as a service, just to give you an idea. So now we'll quickly go through the our core architecture. So we'll quickly go through the architecture so that it will help you to understand how this is happening. Okay. Okay. This is the core architecture, I'd say. So if you see, so major part is so how we are building our system. So previously, as I said, everything was managed by our local IT managers. So one company, they will have hire an IT team, they will have an IT admin, they will manage all our environments. Correct? This was the structure. So they will maintain their own Windows Server directory. They will maintain or maybe their own client directory, right? Directory means where we are actually, whenever you are working for that company, your user ID, all these things are maintained somewhere, right? You have your email ID. So mostly they were maintaining in the Windows Server directory. With the cloud architecture, everything has that directory part has been migrated to your Azure Active Directory. That is a major change that has happened, and that has to be done. There's no other way of it. We can use on-premise application. We can use that also. Our development UAT environment can be on-premise. On-premise means the clients or your own application is being managed in your own home servers. So you can have the complete control over it. It is not being managed by Microsoft. But the Active Directory should be Microsoft's Azure Active Directory. So this helps us in two ways. First, it's a single sign-on process, and this helps us. So once you have this credential set in Azure Active Directory, it helps you to log into finance and operations. If you are using CRM, you can use the same login. You can go to and log into your LCS, and you can also use our VSTS. I'll come to this later, but it's a single sign-on process, which is a major important part. So one login from Azure Active Directory, you can access to multiple applications. Okay, so how we are using, so right now the first thing we have to maintain is all our users and our directory should be migrated to our Azure Active Directory. And Azure Active Directory is actually those roles and responsibilities, permissions is being maintained in here. So Microsoft Office Admin Center, so they give you the Office Admin Center where you can actually go and come and use create a user, give him roles and permissions based on like whatever application he will be using, and then based on that you can usually access the different applications. The second part, the major thing what Microsoft has introduced is LCS, which is called Lifecycle Services. So LCS is basically used to manage the environment. What do I mean by that? As I said, Microsoft provide you three environments, right? What we have is first is our development, test, and also our production environment. Maybe based on requirement, you can have other environments also. Maybe you can have a pre-prod environment. Maybe you can have a build environment. How you are going to see those environment? How much you want to run this environment? If any issue happens, where do you see those? All these things are being managed from Lifecycle Services. Any updates or upgrades, whatever you are going to do, all these environments are being seen and managed from Lifecycle Services, and this access is generally given to maybe admins or whoever has a functional control over it. Okay, this is the structure. And VSTS is nothing but our Visual Studio Team Foundation server, or what we used to call TFS, Team Foundation Server. Maybe you have heard the term TFS. Right now it is called as VSTS. So what we call it DevOps. So you have definitely heard the term DevOps. So it is actually we maintaining our code versions, managing our pipelines, test cases, everything is maintained from the DevOps. So VST is nothing but our DevOps. So where we actually come and see all the changes in our codes, maintaining the versions, we can release the build, all these things. Again, all the sign-in, logins, and everything, all the structure is happening through Microsoft Azure Active Directory, and Microsoft is helping us to do the single sign-on. Let's assume uh, you have implemented finance and operations. 2 years you are using it, and after 2 years you need to implement your CRM application also, Microsoft Dynamics CRM application, because you have a large customer base and you need to implement that. So how will be the structure? Will it be again a new client ID, new Azure Active Directory you need to create? You do not need to have that. With the help of the same Azure Active Directory, you can again create a new application, which is Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and you can use the same single sign-on process. There's no other authentication, nothing is required. Okay, so from LCS, as I was explaining, we have mostly the environments that Microsoft manage. Microsoft will give you proper updates, remind us everything that okay, these are the things that you need to do to manage the environment. So right now the structure is like, you know, whenever there is an application, there are updates also, right? How we are doing our update in any other, in our application in mobile phone, right? Those updates. So Microsoft has enabled that you cannot delay an update till 3 stages. Like right now, if you are in version 1 and Microsoft has already released version 4 and you are not updating, so Microsoft is not allow that. It will automatically come and update that system. Correct, it will do version 4. So if there are any new changes and all those things, that you need to figure it out. So it is always recommended to make those version updates available. So how Microsoft is doing that so seamlessly? Through Lifecycle Services, because they manage those environments, because the servers and those updates, Microsoft are currently managing that, and that is why they can easily come and do all these upgrades and everything, right? So this is the structure what we have as of now. If you have any questions, we'll take it later, but let us just quickly go through few of the advantages. Okay, as I was explaining, mostly I have explained all these things. So storage capacity, scalability, mobile access. One thing I just like to highlight, this mobile access, maybe if you see your maybe work in companies, right now you will not see much of this in India, I would say. They are using the mobile application for using ERP, because what we call this, we consider as a work application, right? We go to our computer, we open in our desktop and we start using it, but it is actually very useful, because with Power Apps and multiple integration, we can easily do our things. Because some maybe you are a high-end or high individual, high-stake individual in your organization, you need multiple module access. But some junior employees who do not need some access, who maybe just need to create an order or book your timesheet, right? He do not need to open his Windows application or like app also, like on online application also. You can just simply download an application where you have enabled that, okay, these are the things you need to do, your timesheet will be booked. You can simply follow the steps and those will be, and that is also very convenient from security purpose also. So those things are by now and then coming up with the advent of cloud and Microsoft Dynamics. So whenever a new features is coming, we have those feature management things in Microsoft Dynamics, that whenever a new feature is coming, let's say we have our warehouse management system. So I give you an example. In warehouse, if you see the big large warehouse, like if you have seen the videos in maybe YouTube or somewhere from Flipkart or Amazon, they have huge warehouses, right? All those racks and stores, like how you see if you go to an IKEA store in Hyderabad. So there's a huge warehouse, right? When you go out the store, so all these warehouse workers are there, right? They are actually not have the time to come to the system and, okay, this is where my stock is, I can go and pick it up and I can store in a different location. They will not do that. They need something very handy. And that is why we can easily give them something called as mobile device application. So they will simply scan that in the handheld device. So they have like small scanner code or barcode. So they simply scan that and it will show in their mobile, okay, this is the location where you can find your stock. Because under the huge warehouse, if you try to find out on your own, it's a nightmare for you. So that we help them to, okay, this is how you can go and you can simply see whatever your stock is. So those things are actually picking up, and we are having multiple use cases of mobile access, power apps and integration. So those things we can actually leverage from Microsoft Dynamics 365 FNO right now with all our customizations. Okay, so what's new, as I was saying, from these are from the core technical point of view, so we can just quickly go through that. And because if I just simply start saying all this, it will take a big amount of time, and we'll cover all these things in our upcoming sessions. So as I say, cloud hosted environment, right now all the development are being happening in Visual Studio development environment. Previously, in the previous version, it was called a MorphX development environment, MORPH MorphX development. So that MorphX application was enabling us to access our objects, access our table, classes, everything. But right now it is very easy, Visual Studio development environment. So if you can go to open a Visual Studio, you will simply download your AOT and you can start working on that. And deployment and everything is very easy on that. Overlaying extension, so I'll quickly explain those things, like how Microsoft is encouraging us to go for extension. Extension is nothing but how, or over this concept are basically nothing but how we are going to develop our application or develop or customize our application. So as I was explaining the example of Reliance and Reliance and Accenture. So if they want to do some customization in customer sales form, and in the sales process, if you need to do some changes, so Microsoft has already given one process. On top of that, if you want to do any changes, how you are going to do that? Will you use an extension? So extension of the existing process, or you will do a complete change of the existing process, which is overlaying. So how those will be impacted, how Microsoft is encouraged us to go through extension, all these things. So we'll discuss on the stages when we go deep dive into the, because if I start saying now, it will not make much sense to you, because you need to know few of the basic things first. And definitely our entity packages, all the web services will be covering in the session. Okay, so this is most of the course objective, as I said, Visual Studio development environment, customization, tables, forms, development, express code, basic security. So the course element and objective, I believe you have already received from the front office. So those will be covered, and we'll be covering, if you have time and everything, based on the batch, we will be covering some more topic when we start the session. Okay, so this concludes the session for today for the demo. So I'll quickly take all the questions from all of you.
No, sir. Good morning.
Yes, please go ahead.
How many days to complete the course?
Exact number of days you can confirm from the front office also, but it will take maybe 6 weeks or 8 weeks based on the batch and based on the year. But exact time you can just from the uh, uh, based on the from the front office from the admin. One more thing, I just ask everyone to drop their contact number and the emails with the front office or in the chat so that we contacted later. And yeah, one more thing I just like to highlight on this. Maybe I don't know what objective you have. Maybe I'm assuming maybe upskilling or maybe learning some new product because this product currently I'll tell you the job market and everything honestly. So uh, right now if you go to like any job market you will see like everyone upskilling is for like only for data science and everything and all these things, right? So but always there is a market for niche products or niche technology or niche ERP. So this ERP application is something that all the organization will always need. It is not, they cannot upskill their operations, or they cannot do any kind of changes without their finance and accounting, because ERP finance and operations, any ERP application is majorly used for accounting and reporting. To create a transaction, to create a sales order, purchase order, how much I received from my sales order, that I can do from Excel also. And from Excel also, I can build my report and I can give an invoice to customer also. That is not a huge job. But for a large organization or for a mid-sized organization also, we need to have a system which gives us the power of accounting, where we can do our accounts, manage our accounts, we can maintain our reporting, because this reporting tool and all the capabilities are huge in the application. So those requirement will always be there. And yes, the jobs and everything, development, if you go to any big IT organization, whoever is not started, you can just go to the career section and you can see the jobs in Microsoft Dynamics, AX, technical, functional, or all these roles, being from junior to senior roles. Those are very much there, any big organization. And one trend I have seen recently is a lot of companies from Europe and USA also, they are setting up their offices in India also, because we have that technical knowledge to work on them, and they can leverage that for their businesses also. So maybe in company from Asia, Europe, who do not have a presence in India, but they are also setting up offices in different locations in India just to start their businesses. So yes, just to confirm, we have good opportunities if you harness, if you can go through the session, if you can harness that knowledge, if you can do the upskilling, or if you want to gain new knowledge, that will be very helpful for the further courses. Okay, so yes, I will take the questions now and then we'll conclude the session.
Hello, sir.
Actually,
Yes, please go
science
ahead.
basically my education background is science background, so that's why. So can I learn this technical part?
You can learn, but yes, I'd suggest I will not lie on upfront just to bring you on board or something. So you need some object-oriented programming knowledge. Maybe C, C++ will help you. If you do not have maybe some writings which I am doing in the code sharing, or maybe if I am asking to do something, maybe it will take some time for you, or maybe you need to spend some more time on yourself. But whoever has done some programming or some knowledge maybe in college days, that will definitely help. But yeah, you can definitely learn from it, because learning the concept is very important. And see, one more thing just want to highlight. So from the work point of view, so I have seen so many technical people also just to work, okay, this is the work for a functional guy and this is the work for a technical people. So this is a clear demarcation, this is a functional and this is a technical. I don't treat the product like this way, because whenever you are technical, the first thing you should have is why you are doing this. So if I'm in a functional engineer, if I tell you, okay, you do this change and you do this customization, you create this table, you create this form, and once I click this button, this will happen. So it should come to your mind why I am doing this. if there is anything is left in the product that I can use, or why I'm doing this. So those things needs to come from you. And if you have that clear logical thinking, programming is not a challenge, I would say, because that can be learned in any way. But the clearly understanding the data structure, understanding how the nuances work, that thing is very important just to begin with. Yeah. Any more questions?
Hi, I have a few questions, Mitra. So, how is this course that you have designed? Is it for purely technical guys, or will it work even for the functionals? So,
This
how do you
course,
start off? Will you be starting from the basics of programming, and do you give some concepts of understanding how we can get started with object-oriented coding, something like that?
no, this is not for functional, like Dynamics 365 functional just to begin with, not at all. This is for Dynamics 365 technical trainers training. And yes, we will not be covering the basics of object-oriented programming, because that knowledge is a bit small scale. You will need that, as I was explaining in the previous question. But yes, definitely some knowledge will be needed, and we will not be covering the basics of object-oriented programming in here. So once I start explaining the data structure, the classes, how we can write the code and everything, we'll expect some like bit of understanding and knowledge from inside also, so that you can grasp that knowledge. But again, as I was saying, so if you spend some time on yourself also, you can easily grab that up. So it will not be a problem, but just know and understand the basic concept is more important.
So,
Yeah.
the course is not designed for someone who is not from the tech background, and for someone who is not purely from the Dynamics part of it, right?
No,
That's the conclusion. Yeah.
someone from the technical background. Okay, so I then ask you, what is your objective on that? If you are not from the technical background, if you do not know like ABC of coding, and if you come here, it will be a bit challenging for you. If you are coming from just to know the product as a finance ERP, how that function can was, again, that is not for you. As I said, this was for Dynamics 365 for technical aspects.
All right. Okay. Cool. And how much of the SQL queries? I heard that you were saying you either you should have a basics of object oriented or SQL query. How much will the SQL queries writing will help you right now? That front.
It will help you a lot actually, because you know how to write an SQL query. If you, let's say, if I say you have a table and I ask you to find the value in based on some condition value in one of the two columns. So if you can write that select statement, write that thing, that will help you immensely. If you know to how to write that, that will you can easily come in here and write the code also. That will be helpful also.
Okay, I'm more interested to take this up as a career in the technical. I'm a techno-functional guy. I do reporting and the functional aspects of handling the finance and operation tool as well. But very new to Dynamics, I'm SAP consultant.
Okay.
So I'm just
Yeah.
willing to get into this domain and be on the techno-functional role itself.
Yeah. So that I have done, so I can understand what from where you are coming from. But yes, if you know SQL, if you know how to write a SQL query, then you can easily understand what I'll be teaching, how I'll be doing that. So that will not be a problem.
Okay, and Mithna, I have some query. Like after this technical course, like we will be able to like customize adding the extension in a table. Okay, like I need to add a field and in the form as well. Okay, and can flow that field to the post-it table. So that we will learn, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And even the integration means not the tech at advanced level, but basic integration that we can do with the other application, like importing, exporting the data, something like this.
Those will be shown. Yes, definitely.
So in the multiple integration, yeah, in the multiple integration, how will you show that? So only the import exporting, or else is there any external integration, or else you can
Import, export, and from the Excel, from the directly from Power Query, how we can do that. So those things I'll show. So from whatever we can So from integration point of view, but let's do just to be clearly on that. So if you expect, okay, we'll have a different application and we can show you that, okay, I have an in-house application and I can do an integration. You understand that is not possible here because that is like I do not have any application and I can just build and show you how to do it. But get all the concepts how we can do it as I was explaining the AI framework and all these things and the basic integrations what we have from Microsoft Excel, how we can do our data import export, how those data publishing can be happen. Those things will be definitely covering.
So what about the web services? So will you guide any web services level? So because without web services we cannot do anything right in the market.
No,
So that's
without
why.
web services you can like you cannot do anything that would be I'd say wrong thing, but you can do so many things because not only the integrations is only one thing. See, integration, if you have the concept of okay, business only want integration, okay, I know web services I can do integration, but I do not know how to build a functionality. That is I'd say the wrong thing to approach. Your approach should be you know functionality, you know how to build a new like functionality on top of Dynamics 365 and also you know web services because that's an add-on function because any customer whoever is buying the product they will definitely need some or other customization in reporting and all these things Ssrs reporting changes in Dynamics 365. If they have another application, if they have any other application where they do need integration, then we need web services and integration. And as I said, the basics and all those things will be covered.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Any more
How about
questions?
the environment? Uh, do you guys provide any environment to do the development? How?
No. We do not provide you any environment, but yes, we'll show you like how to use that environment from LCS, from a user demo, user account, and all these things, so that you can have the hands-on experience. Yes.
So we can set up ourselves. You guide us to set up ourselves the development environment.
Yes. Yes. How to do that? We'll show you how to do that. Yes.
Is it any chargeable or is it freely we
Uh,
can set up, or do we need to have any requirement as such?
that we can easily if we can do that requirement and everything. See, we can do two by one or two ways. So one is you can do from LCS online. So Microsoft has few options on that. You can do and have a like a development session for every day for 2-4 hours. We can do that, and those changes we can do, again come and use that for tomorrow. So that is the one thing. And second thing is if you have your Windows so Windows like 10 Pro, so Pro license and everything in your local machine, then you can easily allocate and you know Hyper-V, right? You can easily allocate a RAM to a virtual machine and you can do that. So that is bit a like complex thing because we have to have a allocated different RAM to the system. We can have to have a Windows Pro version, license version on that. So those things will be needing, but we'll mostly covering from the online session. And yes, we when we'll be doing the hands-on, we'll be helping you to set up the environment and we'll show you how to do our changes on that. Okay.
So the second model you will be able to provide us, right?
Yeah. It's any model. If the first model and second model will be whatever we'll be covering, we'll be showing you live on that, and we like go hand in hand. So once whatever I am doing, I'll be showing, and you can also do along with me.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused. You mean to say
I
that?
said whatever I'll be doing, how the setting up in the environment or how we'll be using a virtual machine user, creating a user account, all these things will go hand in hand. When whatever I will be doing, I'll be showing you live and you can replicate the same and you can also have and will have an access for a development environment. This is what I said.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question.
Development environment, no need to have any additional cost or anything as such, right?
No, not additional cost, anything as such. I know, no.
Okay.
Yes. If any questions, Anyone?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
As a person from finance background, will this add any advantage to my career as it is purely technical based, or is it a complete shift from my career phase or something?
Okay, so yeah, I would say if that will be helping you to be a techno-functional in the ERP domain, so that is in very much in demand. So if you know the technical, that will also be highlighting, highlighting your CV also. So if you are completely coming from finance background, do not have any programming knowledge, but if you want to learn something new, and that will again, as I said, it will help you. From your career point of view, I would suggest, so based on your experiences, and that I can suggest you. So maybe you can drop your number, and I will drop my number. You can text me or something. We can have a call. But uh, actually it depends on your experience. So based on that, I can suggest you, if you are maybe at a career stage where you have maybe more than 5 years or 8 years experience, or maybe less than 2 years experience, so my answers will be different, honestly. So I cannot just say right now, because I have seen so many career changes, career shift, in Dynamics 365 or in other applications from different backgrounds. So I have seen one guy who was from humanities background. He was doing working in the NGO, and then he moved to Dynamics 365. So those examples I have seen. So any background is doesn't matter. What matters is what is your end goal, and what exactly do you want. So that is important.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Please drop your number now, so I will contact you in your free time. So I have few more questions, so I will discuss it.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but same with me as well.
Drop your number, please.
Yeah,
Maitra.
sure. I'll just quickly stop the share actually. So I think it's done, the sharing part. And yes, I'll drop my number, and as I said, so all of you, I request all of you to just drop your email ID and the phone numbers, and I'll drop my phone number also, and you can just quickly contact the front office admin who is there for any further help, any further discussion about the course and everything. So that will help you to enroll for the course, so that you have a clear understanding what you are getting, and how you will be getting that. So that clarity is very much needed. If you do not have any other questions, we can conclude the session. Yes, please go ahead.
Give us the timing of this training session.
Mostly morning session, as I heard from the admin, but based on the batch, we can fix the timing. I believe that will be like discussion will be happen for based on the batch. So if 90% of the people are saying we will be doing at evening time, we will be going for that. But again, that will also based on our timing also. Like my and everyone timing should match, but that is why we are opting for the morning time, because at this hour most of us are free, and we can just start doing the session. Okay, but that
So
timing will be confirmed.
8:30 to 9:30 will be a workable slot for you, Maitra?
We have to confirm from the front of, yeah, that works for me actually. That works for me, but yeah, that's it. It depends on how we are doing that, like how many batches or how many things we are doing. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Thanks Naveen. So we'll conclude the session. As I said, I believe all of you have dropped your number. I'll quickly drop my number here. Just give me a moment. Yeah, I have dropped my number also. So if you have any queries related to career and everything, you can definitely ping me. But yeah, again, as I said, for any related to any front office work like timing, courses, those things, I'll definitely not be able to answer. I definitely ask you to contact the Visualpath admin and the team. So, but any other questions, drop me text. I'll give you a call, or you can just send me an email or to text me. I'll definitely reply to all of you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thanks everyone. It was nice talking to all of you. We'll have a great session and hope to see you in the batch. We'll connect later. Okay. Thanks everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you. Good day. Bye bye.